Welcome, finance professionals. This is part one of a three-part video series where I will talk you through my CV, the CV that got me a job at Goldman Sachs, one of the top investment banks in the world. And let's get started with the intro. So, my name is Economics Ethan. I've worked at top investment banks such as Goldman Sachs for over 10 years, as you can see here. I've also worked at I've interviewed successfully at JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Credit Suisse, and a ton of other investment banks, hedge funds, private equity firms, and so on, and worked at many other investment banks. Here's a quick disclaimer about my content before we move on. Now, I'm going to talk you through my CV in these three videos. And in this first video, we'll be talking through the first few sections of my CV. But before I get started, I just want to let you know about a few quick notes. So it's a three-part video series, as you know. And this CV secured myself a job offer at Goldman Sachs, working on the sales and trading division, working as part of the trading floor. This is a slightly adapted version of my own CV, to keep my privacy and to remove any type of sensitive information. And it's just clear to make it now. It's good to make it clear now. This CV is not endorsed or created by Goldman Sachs in any way. It's purely my CV and a CV I used to get a job at Goldman Sachs in the past. So it's not linked or endorsed by Goldman Sachs. It's completely my CV. Okay. So we can move on and get started with the second point. And this is the first section of my CV. My CV headline, of course, I've replaced my name with my brand name, Economics Ethan. So at the top of your CV, what should you add? You should, of course, put your name, put your contact details, your email address. If you have your LinkedIn profile, that would also be good to list here so they can see a bit of a detailed review of your profile, because of course your CV is limited. But if you put a link to your LinkedIn page, you can have a lot more information, and recruiters and hiring managers find it very easy to get to know you on LinkedIn, and they can always message you there in a very easy way. Of course, list your date of birth, your nationality, and your gender. I know nowadays things are quite sensitive around, where people are based, their ethnicity, or their gender, and things like that. So you don't necessarily have to put that. But at the top of your CV, you should always put at least your name, your email address, and your LinkedIn profile webpage link. Now, your CV experience section. So, on your CV, of course, you'll be listing your work experience, as you can see clearly here. Now, I've kind of crammed it into a nice small space so you can see it on the screen in one go. Now, what can we take away from this? Let's see what about my CV work experience section stood out to the recruiters. So, where was I working at before Goldman? I was working at another European investment bank in an analyst role, and I did a variety of different roles there. I worked in the New York office and the London office. I did a lot of business strategy gap analysis. I was resolving queries within a strict deadline set out by the US government regulator. I analyzed their structural enhancements for their swap dealer entities and helped review their swap dealer annual report and responded actively to business queries. So, what type of skills do you see here that would stand out to a recruiter? Managing things within tight deadlines, managing work projects within tight deadlines, working on business strategy, understanding the business growth and the overall structure of a major investment bank, also launching enhancements to their specific business entities. This shows I have forward looking potential. I understand businesses and how they grow. And I also worked on regular type of work like annual reports and responding to general business queries. So it shows you have a broad depth of skills working on some key important projects. And I have a few buzzwords there like CFTC, swap dealer, things like this. And this is what the recruiter looks out for, to show you have some technical skills and technical experience. Before that, I did some work experience at another European investment bank. I worked on several teams in the sales and trading division. I worked on a variety of different regulatory queries like market soundings, FX options, covered bonds. And I also helped when it comes to upcoming market changes, new trade testing methodology, drafting reports, and working with other business divisions like asset management and the investment banking private side. So, what does this show to a recruiter or a hiring manager at Goldman Sachs? It shows that, okay, well, he's worked in a similar business line. in compared to where I was working at Goldman Sachs, and the role I was applying for. I have experience within sales and trading. I have some technical experience around equity, FX options, which are derivatives, and covered bonds, which are niche type of bonds. And also, I've worked across different business lines, asset management and the private side, which is investment banking, alongside sales and trading. So it shows I have a breadth of experience, which is what the recruiters are looking for. Next, I have experience working at financial data firms. I've omitted the name here, so I won't mention it here. So what I've put here is I've worked on dividend forecasting. I used analytical skills to look at dividend dates, to look at Excel, and used Excel for some of the modeling, financial modeling I was working on there. And I also helped them grow their business by interacting with some of their newer business regions in the emerging markets in Israel, in Eastern Europe, and South Africa. So I helped them grow their business there too. So it's showing all these relevant skills around teamwork, analysis, business growth. And when a Goldman Sachs or any other top company is looking to recruit you for a role, they're saying, okay, well, this guy has skills, and also he understands the commercial awareness of a business. He knows what a major bank is looking to do. He understands the overall structure. And these are key things you should get along. This is key messages you should convey on your CV, because this is what recruiters are looking for. And in the very short space you have, as you can see, it's just a few lines for each work experience I have. I'm demonstrating a lot of skills very quickly, right? Very briefly. And you can see how a recruiter will highlight these type of sections I've highlighted. So let's move on to the accounting firm. So I did some brief work experience at the accounting firm, which I summarize here. I worked on cash flow forecasting, helping business secure business loans, working within strict deadlines, working on tax returns, understanding different financial regulation around money laundering. And then at the government treasury department, I also did a brief work experience there. I have teamwork skills there, understanding investments, trading products like interest rate swaps. I worked on budgeting and negotiating with financial brokers. So these are all these relevant skills. You can see how briefly this has been summarized in just a few lines. And this will really stand out to the recruiter. I'm hitting so many buzzwords here: interest rate swaps, which is a financial product, mentioning bank loans, financial regulation, financial brokers. This is all of the type of buzzwords you should include in your own CV. So just to summarize there, before working at Goldman Sachs, I had 3 years experience at a top European investment bank, 2 summer internships at a financial data firm and an investment bank, and 2 work placements at an accounting firm and a treasury department. So if you're early on in your career, try and get as much experience as possible. Don't simply think if you don't get experience at a major investment bank, you failed in your career, or if you're not getting a summer internship or spring week, that something's wrong with you. You should always get all the easy wins you can. If you can only get experience at an accountancy firm, do that. If you could only work at a government treasury department, do that. That's always a stepping stone up in your career, which you'll be able to do moving forward. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd appreciate if you click like, leave a comment if you have any questions, click subscribe, and then also click the bell to stay notified. So all the free helpful content I'll be producing will come along your way very soon, and you'll be notified of that. Moving on to point 4, what do we have here? Now, I've mentioned in a bit more detail the type of skills and experience I have. As you can see here, if we go through that finance analyst role at the investment bank, so I am focusing on certain key aspects here: the tasks I've completed, the skills I've developed, and some of the industry buzzwords. So you can use this as a brief example for yourself if you're writing your CV right now. Then we had those summer internships I talked you through. So what did I focus on here? The value I've been able to add in that job role. How have I helped their companies grow, helped their business lines grow? What analysis have I done for their clients? Which financial products have I covered? Equity, FX options, bonds, interest. What else do I mention here? Dividends. So that's linked to equity also. So all these different types of products, working alongside asset management, investment banking, different business areas. So you can see these are ticking the boxes of all the recruiters and hiring managers. Work experience: I've worked on cash flow forecasting. I've worked within strict deadlines. I've worked on various teams, researched investments, worked on annual budgeting. So I have all these basic skills, and this is what I mean. When you start your career, you getting work experience at an accountancy firm, at a treasury department, might not be brand name companies, but you're developing basic skills. You're working on some big projects. You're collaborating with teams. All these basic skills you'll need moving forward in your career, so it'll stand out to recruiters. So this is the introductory section of my CV. We'll go through the other two sections of my CV in the next two videos. So stay tuned for that. Now, in the meantime, I've produced a masterclass covering all these key top CV tips and over 50 examples of top CVs to help you develop your own CV. And you can use all these examples to help your career prospects and increase your earning potential. In terms of professional writing, I have a professional writing service where I'll write your CV, your LinkedIn profile, or your cover letter. I also offer a career advice service, which is one-to-one career training to help you with your career planning and skill development. And if you're not sure, I also have a link in the description which offers a free call, and I will be happy to talk to you for 15 minutes and help boost your career. Now, I hope you found that helpful. Links are in the description to everything I mentioned. These two playlists on your screen right now will be even more free content to help boost your career. Thanks for listening. See you in the next video.